Hi, this is Terry from Fabric Junction in Sturgis, South Dakota. Today I'm going to show you how to work with the Quick Curve Ruler. This is a great technique to create a little bit of curve to your project without having to pin it, take a lot of time and trouble. This is the ruler. It comes with a pattern that creates this lovely table runner, or you can pick quilt patterns, which I have 4 of them sitting here, which includes the one that I have hanging behind me. And the one behind me, this is the block right here that we use that lovely curve on. Today I'm going to show you how to make the curve that we put in the table runner. You will have some rectangles that are measuring 3.5 by 8.5. And when you're comfortable, go ahead and stack them. But on your first one, you might want to just cut one, but stack them on top of each other when you're going to do a bunch of them. When you go to use your ruler, you'll see there's a dotted line both at the bottom and at the top. And you'll want to place your rectangle between that dotted line. So once we're placed between the dotted line and lined up on the edge, we're going to take our rotary cutter, and for those of you that have a palm cutter, it works great with this too. Just go in and cut that nice gentle curve. Snagged one of my little pieces, there we go. And you cut 2 pieces for the outside of your block. Then take a strip of fabric, and I have this one folded in half. And we're going to do the same thing. But this time, we're going to place it between the 2 dotted lines. So I'll get those lined up. And then I'm going to bring down the corners here a little bit lower, because the first piece I'm going to cut off, I'm not going to use. So I get down to a nice point straight on my lines, and then I'm going to cut. Now I'm ready to make the center piece of my block. And on the ruler again, here is another set of dotted lines that are in the curve, and I line those up with that curve, stay between my dotted lines, and cut. I got one little spot that wants to stick today. To continue cutting, we will do the same thing. You just line it up again and cut. And then you'll have a stack of your centers and your outside. I'm going to turn these around because I want to sew with this curve on top. And if I lay my pieces in this order, this curve will be on top, because I start with the one on my left goes on the bottom, the next one goes on the top, and here I can line it up basically a 1/4 inch. So where you see this little tip, that should be a 1/4 inch above the piece that's on the top. And I line up only that little section. I don't worry about the rest of it. Now I'm ready to sew, and we keep that nice lined up. Line it up right with my needle. I'm on my 1/4 inch line. Now I have a 1/4 inch mark on my machine, so I keep the bottom one lined up with that 1/4 inch mark, and I hold the top piece in line with it, and I stitch. And I keep the bottom lined up, and then slowly, as it gets closer to the needle, I line up the top. Now you got to remember you're sewing on a bias, so you don't want to pull it. Now sometimes the two pieces line up really nice. That one did. Sometimes they're off a little bit when you get to the bottom. That's okay because we're going to square it up when we're done. But again, line up at that 1/4 inch. Slip it in. Your needle should come right across that section that you lined up. Lined up. That one's off just a smidgen, but that's okay. We'll correct all that once we get a chance to square it up. So now I have two pieces with my first curve in place. Now these will go on the bottom because that is the inside curve. And again, I'm repeating again the same thing. 1/4 inch, line it up, and we're going to sew. All my pieces want to jump up because of the curve. Okay, once you have your pieces sewn, I have both sides, now we're ready to press. Now when I go to press these, I press one set, I press towards the outside. Come on, there we go. And the other set, I would press the other direction. Now you can press them open if you like, if that's your preference. It won't hurt anything. But what I discovered is when I press one set one direction and the other direction, when I go to sew the two together, they'll already be left and right. So now I need to square them up. And to do that, I place it, and as you can see, I've got little wobblies, but we want it to be squared up and nice and pretty. Find the 1/4 inch mark on your ruler. Come in a 1/4 inch, and that's what you want to line up on the edge of your center piece. Then come down to the 8 inch, because we're going to cut these down to 4 inches by 8 inches. But we need to have a point of reference to make sure that our curve stays intact. So once you find the 1/4 inch at the bottom and the 1/4 inch at the top, then we cut. Give it a turn, and you'll discover when you line up on the 4, which I'm right on the money on that one, and here is the 8. We have this beautiful curve. And let me show you just one little more how nice these are. I'm doing a 4 by 8, so I check to make sure that I can cut my 4 by 8. I line up my 1/4 here, and you'll notice that you're about 2 inches here, that you'll have a 1/4 mark here and a 1/4 mark here. So when you trim, you have plenty of fabric there. Let's see, a little piece. Just a little thread. That you have plenty of fabric to trim it down to make these beautiful curved pieces. And how lovely they'll look in your runner. Thank you for watching us here at Fabric Junction, and I hope you enjoy the quick curve ruler as a way to do a curve that you don't have to pin.